I will show you a lot of things, such as a brand new Ferrari. Okay, but then you come to my shop and I spend 1 hour showing you different tastes of popcorn. Hi there. Thank you for submitting your report for assessment at IELTS Juice. There is a lot to unpack, so let's begin. The rubric or the question says, the charts show the percentage of energy produced in the USA and UK from different sources. This is not past simple tense. It doesn't refer to the past. It actually is a short form of a grammar called the relative clause. You can look it up. The actual sentence was, the charts show, present simple, the percentage of energy which is produced in the USA and UK from different sources. That was the actual sentence, but now it is shorter, and because of that we have this. So do not let this to confuse you. This is not about past. I do not see any time frame. I do not see 2011, 2020, last decade. We don't have any time frame. When that happens, our primary grammatical tense is going to be present simple. So everything will be present simple, like this verb here. And the visuals are two pie charts. There are 4 different sources of energy, and the 5th one is not a source, it's actually like other sources. So the main ones are here: natural gas, coal, nuclear, and renewables. Natural gas and coal are fossil fuels. Nuclear is not considered a fossil fuel, of course, and renewables is something completely different. Anyway, from the gist of it, when I look at the visuals, something that catches my eye is that both countries get their energy more than 50% from fossil fuels, but the US uses more fossil fuel than the UK. That's what I understand. The UK uses more natural gas and renewables than the US, but in case of coal and nuclear, the US uses more energy sources than the UK. I'm telling you these things because they will help us create paragraphs. You can, of course, because there are 2 visuals, you can write 2 paragraphs, 1 paragraph for the UK, 1 paragraph for the US, but we want to compare. And it's better to cut and say, okay, 1 paragraph about fossil fuels, and then you compare the UK and the US in 1 paragraph, and then another paragraph about other sources, non-fossil fuel sources, that you can have renewables and nuclear, and that would be 1 paragraph. And other can be just stated in the conclusion, the last, very, very last sentence, as the others are just very, very small amount. So that is what I understand. Now let's get to the response. It says the pie charts, wait a second. Yeah, there you go. The pie charts show the amount of energy manufactured. Energy is not manufactured. Manufacture is not always the synonym of producing or production or to produce. Yes, you can produce cars and you can say, oh, you can manufacture cars, but energy is not manufactured. Like there's not a production line. You put energy into the production or something, and then out of it there are boxes of energy coming out. So this is a weird collocation. Manufacture is basically used for items, goods, physical things you can see. In the USA and the UK, we should say the UK, because it doesn't affect the understanding of your reader, but generally speaking, when you have the name of a country with its way of governance or its political or social governance method, then you have to say, for example, Czech is a country, but we call it the Czech Republic because now we have the word republic next to it. China is is a country, we say China. But the People's Republic of China, PRC, has the at the beginning of it. From varying sources, such as natural gas. Don't say such as. Giving examples in introduction and conclusions is not a good idea. You are going to introduce something to me. How would you feel if I told you that, hey, if you come to my shop, I will show you a lot of things, such as a brand new Ferrari. Okay, but then you come to my shop and I spend 1 hour showing you different tastes of popcorn. And you're confused, like, I've been here for 1 hour, there is no Ferrari. Where are the Ferraris? That is, you may later on show us Ferraris, but that means you didn't have a good introduction. You told me something, but then you showed me something else. That is not good. So don't say such as, tell them namely. Like, yeah, exactly. I'm going to give you this and this and this and that. But it's very important that you actually tell them what you are going through. So these are not such as, these are not examples. We are really going to talk about every single one of them. So just say, comma, namely, natural gas, coal, nuclear, renewables, another comma, and others. Cool. First body paragraph. It can be seen clearly from, everybody makes that mistake. Don't worry about it. It's a common slip of the hand, but it's an error still. From the data that production of energy using natural gas tend to be higher in both Western countries. Tend to be higher than what? It's the first sentence, and I'm already comparing what with what. You mean it's the highest? Which clearly is not natural gas. Or is it? It is. So it's not higher, or let me paraphrase this. It is higher than all the other energy sources, but I need to have that. The production of energy using natural gas tend to be higher than all the other energy sources in both Western countries. And we say in both something. When you say both, we already know which ones you're going to talk about. So this is redundant. More than a third of natural gas is uncountable, so we say is used in the okay, and Britain. This one is redundant because we already have one in, so this is extra. But this is an issue. Now, this is a factual mistake. I know you made an honest mistake. I know. It was just a typo. Okay, but it is still considered a factual mistake. This will bring down the score of your task achievement. So every single data point matters. Britain is the UK, but the US has to be, oops, no, not the US has to be here. The emphasis on using energy as a fuel using renewables in Britain stood is past simple tense. Stand is the present. For this, may I suggest you write somewhere in front of you when you write, or on top of your writing, that your sentences are going to be all in present simple. That will help you avoid making like confusions here. Like this stood means past, but we don't have anything in the past. This one is another factual mistake. This is the second one. It's a grammar mistake and a factual mistake because it didn't stand in the past. or we cannot say it stood in the past. We have to say stand, present simple, because we don't have any time frame there. At a quarter of the total energies combined. Okay, total energies combined, it's basically just extra words. This is rather extra. Looks cool, but it's extra. Also, another word I wanted to talk to you about, the emphasis. How do you know there is emphasis? We don't have emphasis. We don't have these words in giving reports. The words that have feelings, whenever you cannot see anything, it's very hard to write about, and it's very risky. I must suggest that you avoid using words that will have this meaning that they are somehow, you already know behind the policy, you already know the mindset, you already know the result, the effects, the causes. Avoid using all those words and terms and grammatical points, or grammatical structures, actually. A quarter of the total energies combined. Whereas it stands, this is a good one, at only 15% for the United States. Yes, yes, cool. I like that you changed the word 25% to a quarter. That was smart. The use of nuclear energy is, and I also like that in this category, in this paragraph, we talked about natural gas. And we also using renewables. We also talked about natural gas and renewables. Natural gas and renewables. I guess you picked the highest numbers. So 39, then 25, here 34, 15. We combined them, we talked about them, we compared. That's a good move. The problem of this move is that I do not see the logic why these two are here, or you didn't tell me in the introduction that, okay, the division will be like this and that. And frankly, just choosing two elements because they are the highest in one paragraph is a very, very weak logic. It's very hard to sell it to a reader. That the reason I'm just, it's like when you go shopping for some fruits, and instead of organizing them into vegetables and fruits sections, or maybe tropical fruits and I don't know, citrus fruits, you just look at them from the colors perspective, and you put any fruit that is yellow in one category. So there are yellow apples, there are lemons also, and there are some melons, yellow ones, also in that category. And there is like green apples mixed with vegetables in another category. It is a category still, but very weak. I mean, next time when you go shopping or to a shopping center, look around. Really, is it stored like that? It's a bit difficult to sell, actually. The use of nuclear energy is uncountable. So in order for the verb to agree with the subject, we need a verb that agrees with a singular noun. Is given equal importance in both the US and the UK. We should say the UK, again, it's better, with 20% and 18% respectively. Cool. However, it's a bit risky. So the following sentence is going to contradict the previous one. It's going to say something the opposite of the previous one. Let's see. The US uses fossil fuels as almost twice in amounts generated by, I mean, there are so many redundancies. The best approach is almost twice as much as the UK. You see how straightforward it is? You just say almost twice as much as the UK. It means it is 2 times the UK's amount, but not exactly. It's approximately 2 times the number that of the UK. The consumption of energy in both countries through other sources of energy is minimal in quantity. Same issue. we have a lot of subject-verb disagreements. That will affect the number of errors, that will affect grammar, and it also affects, because it was and it turns into is, so it also affects our task achievement, because now these are considered factual mistakes. We're almost done. We talked about nuclear energy, and then we talked about fossil fuels. This sentence is the others part, but let's check the US fossil fuel is twice. This is 30, 30 is 64 versus this one is 15, 40 is 55. 64 is twice as 55? 64, the combination of these two, 64 is twice 55. For God's sake, we only have 9 digits difference. Maybe we should consider the whole grammar here, because clearly it's not, even with almost, it's a huge stretch. Correct this. This is factual mistake. Again, we have counted almost 4, maybe 5. I lost count of the factual mistakes in this report. Overall, it can be anticipated, another not very good word, I don't like this, that the higher use of fossil fuels by the USA will, we don't have that information, leave more carbon footprints than the UK. We do not have that. The sentence is correct. The message is fine. It's very risky, very, very risky. We don't know what happens in the future. Our job in reporting is not to predict the future. Just write another general item. And by the way, speaking of general item, what happened to coal? Coal as a source of energy in the US is twice as the coal as a source of energy in the UK. Maybe you meant this, but you didn't label it well. And we just combined both of them, natural gas and coal. Oh, I understand the logic, but that still is bad. It is still labeled as factual mistake. Then we need to change this element. 166 words. The band descriptors sadly disappoint us. 4.5 is not a good score, mainly because of this. There are, there are parts, you see plural, parts that are inaccurate. And when we miss coal, that is a key feature. We should have mentioned the word coal, and we should have said that we're comparing coal, just coal. Natural gas is also a fossil fuel source. It's the cleanest one, but still. Well, the other scores, as you can see, I didn't see the logic. There is an overall progression, but again, I remind you the logic of sorting fruits. You know, yellow fruits, green fruits, which is rather weird. And then lexical resource, the range of vocabulary was not very, I mean, we have words like anticipated, but really that's not very valuable for reports. There were, however, we acknowledge the attempts. We had more errors in grammar than vocabulary. You see, vocabulary, we made some errors, but many errors happened for grammar and punctuation. And we had multiple subject-verb disagreements, leading us to creating difficulty for the reader to understand and read sentences. There were, again, attempts to write complex sentences. And we acknowledge that, but they weren't as accurate as simple ones. Anyway, this essay gets 4.5. There is an improved version. It's not 9, but it's an improved version. So you can see a next step for your essay, for your report, how it can, go up and get improved. So do check that out. Take care, and I hope I'll be assessing more Task 2s, Task 1s from you in the future. Bye for now.